Have you ever felt as though the harder you strive, the more life pushes back? That sinking frustration when you give your all, only to fall short of your goals. Failure can feel like a heavy stone tied to your spirit, pulling you deeper into doubt. But what if I told you that failure isn't the end but a beginning, a forge where strength and wisdom are born? In a small, mist-covered village nestled between towering mountains, there lived a young man named Kenji. He was a potter, known for his skillful hands and fiery determination. Kenji dreamed of creating the perfect vase, a masterpiece so flawless that it would secure his place as the greatest potter in the land. Day and night, he worked in his humble workshop. His hands were calloused, his clothes dusted with clay, and his face often streaked with frustration. No matter how hard he tried, every vase he made had some imperfection, a tiny crack here, a warped shape there. Kenji's frustration grew. "Why?" he would mutter, staring at the misshapen forms on his workbench. "Do I always fail?" His neighbors praised his craft, but Kenji couldn't see past his mistakes. "I must do better," he told himself. "I must be perfect." One day, a traveling merchant visited the village and spoke of a legendary Zen master who lived high in the mountains. "They say he has the wisdom to unlock the secrets of life," the merchant said. Kenji's heart stirred. "Perhaps he can teach me how to overcome my failures," he thought. Without hesitation, Kenji packed a small bag and began the arduous climb to the master's temple. The path was treacherous. Sharp rocks scraped his hands, and cold winds whipped against his face. As Kenji climbed higher, doubts crept in. What if the master refuses to help me? What if there's nothing to learn? Finally, after hours of climbing, Kenji reached the temple. It was a modest structure, its wooden beams weathered but sturdy, surrounded by blossoming cherry trees. The master sat cross-legged in the garden, a serene smile on his face. Kenji bowed deeply. "Master, I have come seeking wisdom. No matter how hard I work, I fail to create perfection. Please, teach me how to overcome my failures." The master looked at Kenji with kind eyes and gestured for him to sit. "Tell me, young potter, why do you wish to create perfection?" Kenji hesitated. "To prove my worth. To show the world that I am the best." The master chuckled softly. "Let me show you something." He reached for a small, cracked bowl sitting beside him. "This bowl is over 100 years old. Look closely." Kenji examined the bowl. Its surface was uneven, and golden veins ran through the cracks. "Why is it filled with gold?" he asked. The master smiled. "This is Kintsugi, the art of mending broken pottery with gold. Each crack tells a story. Instead of hiding its flaws, we celebrate them. The bowl is more beautiful and valuable because of its imperfections." Kenji furrowed his brow. "But how does this help me overcome failures?" The master picked up a nearby stone and tossed it into a calm pond. Ripples spread across the surface, distorting a reflection of the sky above. When you focus only on perfection, you stir the waters of your mind, clouding your vision. But if you let the water settle, you will see clearly. Failure is not the enemy. It is the teacher. Kenji sat in silence, the master's words swirling in his mind. He thought of his own vases, the tiny cracks, the warped edges. Each one told a story of late nights, countless attempts, and lessons learned. For the first time, he saw his failures not as marks of inadequacy, but as chapters in his journey. The master placed the cracked bowl in Kenji's hands. "Return to your workshop and embrace your imperfections. When you do, you will create not just vases but vessels of meaning." Kenji bowed deeply, gratitude welling in his heart. Kenji returned to his village, his perspective transformed. He no longer chased perfection but instead poured his heart into each piece he crafted, allowing the imperfections to shine. Months later, his workshop was filled with vases that bore the marks of Kintsugi. Villagers marveled at their beauty, not because they were flawless, but because they told a story of resilience and growth. Kenji smiled as he held one of his creations. "Failure is not the opposite of success," he said, "but the foundation upon which it is built." And so, dear listener, remember this. Life, like pottery, is not meant to be perfect. It is meant to be whole. Embrace your failures, for they are the golden seams that make you stronger and more beautiful. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. What cracks can you fill with gold? What lessons can you draw from the struggles you face? In the end, it is not perfection that defines us, but the courage to transform failure into strength. The cracks are where the light enters.